Hey everyone, Mark and Joey back here on a Saturday morning. Beautiful day here, Ontario, Canada. We mentioned that again. If you're a first-time viewer, that's where we live and where we're coming from. And we're going to get back to our camps. This has been a very popular feature getting ready for the NFL. There's not a ton of news out there right now. We apologize to the MLB fans because we're kind of waiting until the last quarter of the season here. They still have more games left in the MLB than most sports have a whole season. So although we watch MLB, we're much more of a late in the season guys. We want to see when it really matters. So many of the games, personally for us, our Toronto Blue Jays are horrible and are like light years of games out of first place. So we haven't really spent the time we would normally on the MLB. Anyway, what we're talking about NFL, and this is where we get to looking at the camps that are coming in. We are within like a month and a week, I guess, 5-6 weeks to the start of the NFL season. That's amazing. So all the camps are revving up. All the players are in camp. Lots of stories happening now. If you've seen, we've been doing a camp, a whole video on a camp for a team. If you haven't seen them yet, go into some of our archive videos here and you'll see we've done 2 divisions so far and half of the division we're covering right now. So a good opportunity for you to get involved and see what we think about those camps. Also, if you go to YouTube, you can actually comment on those camps, as did a couple of Cleveland Brown fans who weren't happy with us. So we're happy to get in that debate too. So go to YouTube and hook up with us as well, Ultimate Sports Channel, and you can leave comments there, which is more difficult to do in some of the other sites. So anyway, we're going to cover the same division now. We're going to wrap up the division with Cowboys and Philly. We're going to Washington next year. So what's happening, Joe, in the Washington camps?
I mean, not much for Washington Redskins fans, unfortunately. I know one that's very passionate about Washington Redskins, and he's always optimistic, but I'm not a big fan of them going into this year. I feel like Alex Smith to Case Keenum is a downgrade, obviously.
Yeah, we like Alex Smith.
We do. And really, he led him to a couple good seasons until, obviously, this injury. So I'm very Actually, sorry, one good season. Yeah, he started out really well in my mind, and then obviously he got injured. But anyways, yes, I feel like Alex Smith was better than Case Keenum. I don't think most people would disagree with that. So bringing Case Keenum isn't doing much for me. I don't think Colt McCoy is everything that he is. He's a big, high-paid backup, but is constantly injured. The greatest gift of a great quarterback is what? Actually being able to play.
Yeah.
So even though he might have a ton of talent and he's a good quarterback, he never plays because he always gets injured. So I'm sorry, I don't believe in Colt McCoy if he takes over Case Keenum's job.
Well,
so really,
Case Keenum, just to highlight that, had one good year with Minnesota. Like, other than that, he wasn't good coming into Minnesota. Had one great, was not good in Denver. There's no reason to expect him to suddenly be great here.
Also, I want to point out,
I still
would rather see him in Minnesota. I think the Minnesota
they made a mistake
up. But anyways, he's here, and yeah, he's overrated. We should have known this. But I will say this: the biggest story really is Dwayne Haskins, who's the 15th overall pick that they drafted this year. What will happen with him? It's the big duel out really in training camp is the quarterback situation. Really, the rest of the team doesn't matter. You know the defense of Washington is pretty good. You know the offense is not great. It's okay. They got some talent in their tight end, their running back, decent receivers, but they don't really have a powerful offense. So their offense is okay. Their defense is pretty good, which leads to a 500 record. But can Dwayne Haskins win the starting quarterback job? And then as we've seen, what does that do to a city and team? I just don't know.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to start Keenum, no doubt, just like Cleveland. So just take last year, going in, Tyrod Taylor going to be the quarterback, going to sit Mayfield, let him get some experience, whatever they were trying to do there, give him some time, which is good for rookies typically. Taylor goes in, is okay. Quite frankly, and I kind of liked him the way he plays.
But with the kicker, he's 3-0.
Yeah, like if the kicker gets 2 field goals, he's 3-0. Instead, he's 1-2, and already people are looking for him to get out, and then he gets injured, which is nobody wishes that, but the fans were almost wishing that. Really don't want the guy to be hurt, but they wanted Mayfield in there. He gets in there. He has a good second half of the season. Now he's lighting it up as a star, and they're going to be, they've got their eyes twinkling as far as the season's concerned. We did a show in Cleveland, by the way. We don't think the same as a lot of people when it comes to what their season's going to look like when teams get to scout him. But here's the thing you could have in Washington. They're not even going to be caring about this kid. 15th round draft pick. They go out and get Keenum. Every team is scouting Keenum right now. There's no doubt about it. They're getting ready for him to be the quarterback. So if they do have to make a change during the season, they're going to get one lucky period of time where they don't know anything about this rookie quarterback. He's going to win some games. Everybody's going to be in love with that, and then they'll scout him in the next season. It's a whole different world.
It doesn't change their record.
That's why it's a sophomore jinx when you go into the second year. But it doesn't change. 8-8 is what we think. Yeah. Quality enough
even
team.
7-9.
Not a horrible team, but it's going to be a mixed season. Does a rookie get in? Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't work. I think Keenum has some skills. He showed that in Minnesota, even though he's not been able to show it elsewhere. So we got to see what the offensive coordinator is going to do for his offense, and we'll see how he can be this year. But they weren't fantastic with Alex Smith there.
Yeah, and to take over this division, you got to remember, this division now has the Cowboys and the Eagles, which are solid teams. It's not a joke anymore. I mean, obviously the Giants still a joke, to be honest with you, and Washington's been bad for many, many years. And even when the division sucked, they couldn't do better than 500 or maybe a couple games over 500 and didn't do anything in the playoffs.
And they had a max quarterback.
Yeah, so and they had Kirk Cousins, who apparently is this greatest quarterback
even
of all
though
time.
he can't get in
So
playoffs.
Washington's never been able to do anything. So now to expect Washington to do something when the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles are actually legit teams and are way better and actually, honestly, playoff Super Bowl contenders, you're telling me now they're going to do good? No. They're 7-9. They may be, honestly, 6-10 because that division is tough. I believe they have 4 losses in their sights simply with Dallas and Philly alone.
And 2 wins in their division.
And that's very difficult then to go and win more than 6 to 8 games. So that's their record. That's what they're doomed for this year. Maybe it changes in the future, but right now there's nothing. I think Dwayne Haskins has a bright future. Yeah. And this actually, funny enough, like most divisions that go from the worst to the best, this is on that path because now you got Prescott, you got Wentz, and if Dwayne Haskins ends up being everything they think he is, you could have 3 solid teams in the future. But as of right now, I don't think he's going to do enough for me. I don't think the organization.
Well, quite honestly, even the guys we have at the top of the division, you're not sure of. I mean, if Wentz goes down, even Philly could not be a great,
about Dallas only because of the weapons around Dak Prescott. I think are enough. So really, even Philly, you're right. I don't have enough faith that if. Well, I've said this before. If Carson Wentz lasts the season, they'll make the playoffs. I've said that.
I agree.
But if he doesn't, then obviously everyone's going to agree with me that they don't have a chance to make the playoffs because they don't really have a backup. So, then that gives Washington a chance to win more games. Also gives them a better chance going forward in the future if Wentz continues to be banged up. Dallas really, for me, is the lock team right now, and it's not even because of the guys that we talk about on a daily basis of Elliott and Prescott. It's because of the defense and the weapons around Elliott and Prescott. But then you add Elliott and Prescott, and it's like how do you lose? So
even at the worst, you're looking at a big record for Dallas. If Wentz goes out, you probably look at 2 teams at 8-8. And you got the comedy show.
So we'll talk about the comedy show next. But Washington specifically, if you're a Washington Redskins fans, you're exactly hoping for what my dad just said. You want exactly the same situation as Cleveland. You want the coach to feel forced to put in your rookie quarterback. And if I'm Washington, I want to do it anyways because guess what? Give these fans something to be happy about. You're not going to make the playoffs.
But you know why they don't.
You got to go do it.
You know why they don't do it because if they start him and he's a bust, then
it looks bad.
The coaches you brought in Keenum and all this kind of stuff. When you're forced to, you get the benefit of it. Yeah. If they start
0-4.
If Cleveland put in Baker Mayfield at the start of the year and he didn't do well, this would have been you wiped him out. He had no chance. You put him in a bad spot.
You had Tyrod Taylor. Why would you do that to him?
Yeah. So he went in with nothing to lose, and that's what we hope here. And that's what Washington fans are hoping. If the rookie gets forced in, it's a no-lose situation. It's a throwaway year, but it's at least a throwaway year where your rookie gets to show his stuff in the second half. So
I think that's a dream situation right now. If you're Washington Redskins fans, you want a dream situation. You want exactly what happened with Cleveland last year. You do that, you're only going to get better, and you might even bring in some weapons like they were able to do in free agency. Yeah. So I see a very Clevelandish situation starting up. The other thing they got with Cleveland that's similar is their defense is actually pretty good. Yeah. I'm not disappointed in that defense.
They're not going to get blown out.
I don't think they'll get blown out. They'll be close, tough games. I just don't think they can put up a ton of points. So you guys are exactly kind of on the same boat as them, and that's where Cleveland kind of was. And I think Washington, like I said, 8-8 is what I hear from most people. I'm thinking even 6-10. Unless they get this kid in and he's something special. But I think that's the season you want. If you're a fan right now, you're at home, you're going, how do I justify watching this season? That's what you want to see. You want to see a struggle at the beginning. Get your Dwayne Haskins in there. Hopefully he can light it up. I think massive potential. He's a huge quarterback. Yeah. And, those guys have kind of gone missing lately in the NFL. I think he's a next coming of a big quarterback. So Washington, that's your season.
Washington's a future thinker.
Future thinker,
That's what we have to call all the teams that are kind of mid-pack and have maybe
course.
some possibilities for the future. That's what we're going to call Washington this year.
Third in the division.
Third in the division, which won't sound too bad, except how the division, they'll be 6-10, maybe 8-8.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we see coming out of Washington and this division. We've got New York Giants, which we're going to do next, and look forward to that.